Welcome back to the Senior Focus. I'm here again with Mark DiStefano and Renee Smith. We're in our final segment, and I did say that we were going to talk a little bit about hospital discharge planning. What is a hospital discharge plan?
Well, I hope I do a good job with this in case there's any discharge planners out there listening. Discharge planning in the hospital setting is really just determining what type of services someone is going to need when they go back to their own home. Sometimes folks aren't ready to go back home, so discharge planning involves picking a skilled nursing facility for some rehab. But if someone is going to go directly from the hospital back to their own home, discharge planning really involves looking at what their medical needs are, what is already in place in their home, what other services they might have. Are they already active with elder services or a PACE program? What is their support system like at home? Do they have friends or family nearby? And the discharge planner works under the orders of a physician also to put together a plan of care, which the patient should also participate in. Like I said, unfortunately, I think sometimes that part there just sort of gets rushed at the end, and I don't think it's anybody's fault. I just think it's the speed of trying to free up the beds in the hospital, get people home, waiting on physicians to round and get folks out the door, and all of those things that sort of muddy the waters. But usually they'll facilitate a referral. The discharge planner will reach out to an agency and say, this is the patient, this is what their insurance is, this is what we see their needs as being, this is where they live, is this something you can do?
Do you think, or do you find that there is an emphasis placed on discharging people to their home as opposed to another facility?
I don't. I think I think I said I think a lot of it depends on what kind of support systems they have in place. So if somebody is going home to an apartment where they live all alone, and their children live on the other side of the country, then usually a rehab facility is appropriate. But if somebody's got family support at home, certainly they can go right home.
Right. Like, I'm thinking of the Affordable Care Act. Is there, you think, an emphasis on discharging people to their home, or no, it all depends on what their needs are, where they go?
I haven't seen that so much yet.
Okay.
What I have seen is that there are folks that are long-term in skilled nursing facilities who are going home.
Right.
And that's a whole nother story. And you could probably talk about that more, the legalese of that.
And you know
but that's
what, we
looking
will.
at,
I'll have you come back on, and we will. I am interested in that. We will talk about that.
Because they've found that those folks can be maintained at home safely with services that are much less costly
as an attorney, I can tell you, all my clients, just about every single one, I think I've said it before, I've practiced for about 25 years. There's one person that didn't want to go home. They wanted to go into the nursing home. Everyone else wanted to go home. Even people in the nursing home, no one wants to be in a nursing home. They all want to go home. If they can safely be provided for, cared for in their home, I think it would be appropriate to transfer their care to their home. Now, if they can't be safely cared for in their home, I think it would be a travesty to send them home. But if they can go home and they want to go home, I'm not quite certain there's a reason why they shouldn't.
And we do find that sometimes is that really a rehab stay is needed, but the patient refuses. They say, I want to go home, and everybody has that right. So we try to put in as many services as we can under their insurance benefit. If they're willing to private pay for the remainder, that's fine, but if they don't have the resources or it's not something they want to pursue, sometimes, unfortunately, they do return to the hospital or they end up transitioning to a nursing home.
A completely appropriate thing. Somebody doesn't want to go to a rehab, they want to go home. The insurance will provide a certain extent of care. They can supplement that care privately, so that rather than a rehab facility, they can go home.
Right. And if they have long-term care insurance, that's an option too.
Right. And I think one of the things that hopefully we've stressed and people have heard is there is patient choice. You're able to determine and decide who is going to provide the care for you when you go home. In the Bayada instance, in the event the person goes home, care is being provided, but for some reason the person has a personality conflict or there's some other issue with the care that's being provided, what happens?
Well, let me jump in on that one.
Okay.
I'll refer back to one of the cases we have, a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week case, where we staffed it with essentially 3 aides doing 8-hour shifts. Again, for that continuity. That's what the client and the client's family member wanted. After about a week's time, I received a call from the client's daughter indicating that one of the aides was doing a great job. Hard to describe, does everything and more that we ask, but there seems to be a conflict with my mom. So I'd like to make a change. So what we worked out was I needed a couple of days to identify the right personality to meet with the daughter to see if that would be a good alternative, which we did, and then subsequently we made the switch and they've been very, very pleased. The aide that we started with didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
It just wasn't, as she said, a comfortable fit.
Right.
So we can really respond within a couple days' time to make that adjustment. That's the Bayada way.
I think the most important thing is people should plan prospectively for whatever their needs might be in the future. If you know that you're going to undergo a hip replacement or knee replacement, even before you go into the hospital, before the procedure takes place, maybe you can do a little bit of research, line up what care you might need in your home, rather than wait until a day before, 2 days before you're discharged, have the hospital tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen for you. In the event you determine that, hey, this is what I need, you can look around and you can have the ability to choose the care you want. Just in closing, I want to talk just briefly, we only have a minute or two left, but there is a symposium that's upcoming, September 4th, that you're graciously helping us bring to the people as a sponsor of the event, Young at Heart. It's an all-day event.
Right.
And there are a lot of different things that are going to be covered in the symposium, from not only when people hear Young at Heart, not only cardiac care, but there'll be some discussion on diabetes and many other different philosophies as well.
Yeah, we're really excited to be a contributing sponsor again this time. The last symposia, only like a couple of months ago, right?
Right.
Was very well attended.
Yeah,
I'm
I
always
think there were probably
amazed
about 250 people.
at the amount of people and how engaged they are and the questions they ask of the physicians, with some great speakers, Dr. DeBow and Dr. Pelto, and just, I mean, there wasn't even enough time to answer all the questions.
You know, the value that's provided to the community in general, what services are available, and like you say, you bring these speakers who provide really nice presentations for people, is really an invaluable asset that's being provided to the community. And I thank Bayada for being a sponsor and helping us bring this information to people, because it really is invaluable.
We're happy to do it.
Renee, Mark, thank you both for joining me today, and join us next week for more Senior Focus.